I want to thank you guys for joining me today. I'm really excited for another episode of Corona Chronicles. I'm excited to have one of my near dear friends here with me. Lisa Jameson is here. We actually got connected through LinkedIn, and it
Hmm.
is just really a joy to be able to come together and just have a conversation, just catch up with life and things that we have going on. So, before we get into our interview, I want to give Lisa the opportunity to introduce herself.
Hi, everybody. I'm Lisa Jameson, and I'm actually in Windsor Locks, Connecticut. And today, Lachelle is, gracious enough to let me talk about a subject that is very near and dear to me, which is anti-human trafficking. And so I believe that people really need to know what's happening and how to combat it. So thank you, Lachelle. Um, I, I don't know if you want to say anything else before I do, or
Oh, actually, we're good. I just think it's really good to be able to dive into such a serious topic. And,
hmm
that's really what I like to promote with the podcast is making us aware of the things that we can do to empower ourselves and others. So I am all on board with whatever you would like to share with everybody.
okay. Well, first of all, I would like to share a just over 2 minute video, and I would like you to notice this girl's background. The type of home that she's in, and while you're viewing this, it's going to be a little shocking, but nothing horrible. So just take a look, and I'll see you in 2 minutes.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
yep. Okay. I hope everybody could hear that. Okay. Um,
Hmm.
okay. Yeah. This unfortunately happens a lot, and kids they just want to be liked, and they don't know who they're talking to. They talk to strangers all the time, and so if some stranger's going to give the girl a lot of attention,
Hmm.
then this is how they trap them. Um, but this happens to children at a really young age. I know here in Connecticut, the youngest is 2 years old,
Mm.
and I'm sure that happens everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And even though I'm in Connecticut, this happens all over the world. It's not just abroad. And, I know that Connecticut is a big hub because of the major airport we have. Atlanta, Georgia is also another huge hub for this.
Mm-hmm.
And so, do you have any particular questions you want to ask me, Michelle,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
about this? Or
I think it's really an important topic because many mothers and fathers just don't even have this on their radar.
no.
So I guess a question would be for parents, what are some things that we should be mindful of, with this type of
Hmm.
situation happening?
Well, definitely. I don't know if everybody noticed not only was she from a very good home with her
Mm-hmm.
mother checking in on her, but another thing I forgot to mention is to see how she changed her appearance over time. Okay. Now I'm sure this wasn't a very long period of time, but the thing is her appearance changed. She didn't look quite as well kept as she usually does. Parents should really be concerned with how much screen time they're getting. And actually, I wouldn't let a child now have a cell phone before the age of 18, knowing what I know. But
Mm-hmm.
they're online. They're constantly chatting with their friends. They're accepting, people's requests for connection, and they put personal information in there all the time. They share pictures of their family, vacations, and people can ask them questions and they'll talk and they have no idea who they're talking to.
Mm-hmm.
So parents should really be concerned about that. They should notice any changes in the behavior of their children. That's also a very important thing. Are they becoming a little bit more secretive, or are they seem depressed, or are they talking about some friend, or they're trying to hide something? And
Mm-hmm.
let me tell you, it is okay to go and search your child's room. I know that
Mm-hmm.
sounds really bad, but children, will not disclose everything. And it is
Mm-hmm.
so important because I've heard of parents searching their room and finding pictures and all kinds of things. And,
Mm-hmm.
children are, sharing pictures that are, like very, their boyfriend will say, "Hey, can you take a picture of yourself naked?"
Mm-hmm.
And they do, and then they'll break up, and then the boy will go and share that. I know of one case where that happened, and a few days after, she took that picture and gave it to him. They broke up, and he actually shared that picture with everybody he knew.
Wow. Yeah.
The police were pulled in, cybersecurity, the whole thing. She the boy also had taken pictures of it and put it in the mailboxes of everybody in her neighborhood, and she was living next door to her grandmother. So the picture got spread pretty far, and it actually went to the other side of the world. And
Wow.
because it came back to bite her 4 years later, and because of it she could not get into college, she couldn't find a job, because now people who are looking to hire somebody will look at their Facebook page or any social
Mm-hmm.
media that they have. So when they
Mm-hmm.
find things like this, they won't hire you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's so important not to share things and to use
Mm-hmm.
privacy settings. Make sure that you
Mm-hmm.
start talking to your children by the time they're 8 or 9 years old, just asking simple questions. Make it part of your conversation, and ask simple questions. Like if you drop them off even at a friend's house, or relatives, or you come home and a relative was babysitting, or anybody, ask them questions about, hey, did you have a good time? What did you do while you were there, or whatever. And if the child clams up and doesn't want to say anything, or just like, oh, nothing, or you know what I mean, if they're more
Mm-hmm.
elusive, it's always a good idea to try to get out of them without being confrontational.
Mm-hmm.
um, and if they do say something, believe what they say. Don't
Mm-hmm.
don't think, oh, this could never happen. It could,
Right.
because it happens in a lot of families. So that is very, very important.
And
I
so
know.
for people who have the suspicion that something could be happening, what
Hmm.
is the best course of action to take? Because you're not quite sure, but you think something's a
Hmm.
little off. Who do you talk to? Who do you tell? That type of thing.
The police.
Okay.
Definitely call the police, or call some kind of organization, like here where I am. I'm part of an organization here in Connecticut called the undergroundconnecticut.org,
Mm-hmm.
and they actually help people, you know, not just in Connecticut, but other places too. They help people,
Mm-hmm.
get services and stuff like that. So anybody could do that, get some kind of organization. Every organization has a way to contact them. There is
Mm-hmm.
also Love 146,
Mm-hmm.
okay? And that's capital LOVE, the number
Mm-hmm.
146, all one word. And
Mm-hmm.
you could also go to Shared Hope International. All of
Mm-hmm.
them will have a phone number, and you can call them as well and say, hey, this is what I've noticed, or whatever. What should I do?
Okay.
Okay. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I know that over the past few years, medical profession and police have been trained on this,
Mm-hmm.
because usually when they go to arrest people, they will arrest the child as well. For years,
Mm.
children have been arrested for prostitution. There is no child that says, I want to be a prostitute.
Right.
And they are arrested. They're also jailed. Their pimps walk away. Nothing happens to them or the Johns, and they go to jail. There have been numerous young girls who have gone to prison for a few years because of the
Mm-hmm.
fact they were arrested for prostitution. There is no such thing as a child prostitute. Okay, that is just
Mm-hmm.
not true. So
Mm-hmm.
it's just awful. Now the cops are being aware and being trained. There is a
Mm-hmm.
lot of work that has to be done, and they're
Mm-hmm.
also arrested for crimes that they committed while they were being trafficked, and they were being made to do these crimes, and they should
Mm-hmm.
not go against them at all.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
and an, another thing is a lot of children don't even know that they're victims,
Right.
which is kind of hard to believe, but there is a lot of very horrific trauma bonding involved, and
Mm.
brainwashing,
Mm-hmm.
and it's horrifying.
Mm-hmm.
So um,
Yeah. Now, so,
yeah,
for people who want to get involved, so these organizations are organizations that they can call and volunteer, or,
yes,
whatever, because, this is a world epidemic, when it comes to this type of
it is.
crime. So they should call those
Yep.
organizations to be involved. So,
Oh yeah.
what is it that really got you really passionate about such a epidemic that's going on?
Well, the Underground Connecticut is a faith-based organization started right out of the church that I go to, back
Mm-hmm.
in 2013.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I learned about this, and I got some training there, and Love 146 is the a training course that they used, and I was just horrified, and I just thought, this is something that is just horrible. I cannot imagine how anybody would want to do these things to children, and
Mm-hmm.
it just evolved into a passion to get involved, and
Mm-hmm.
I want to get involved to let everybody know. And I think that through these podcasts and posting on LinkedIn every once in a while, um, it's a good way to get the word out because people need to
Mm-hmm.
know. And now that we have this technology, so and everybody loves podcasts. I'm
Mm-hmm.
hoping that
Mm-hmm.
loads and loads of people will watch it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I
So
mean, it's a
that's how I
very
got
important.
involved. Yeah.
Awesome. Now, so tell us a little bit
Yeah.
about, what it is that you do within your industry and the things that you're doing business wise that, can help people be aware of some of their rights and stuff.
Okay. Well, I do have my own business. I'm an independent associate for Legal Shield.
Mm-hmm.
And what that does is nobody can afford an attorney for everyday things like your will or speeding tickets, just any human rights issue. They can call
Mm-hmm.
an attorney for under $25 an hour, sorry, a month. And they can get, I know, huh? Unlimited legal advice. They can
Mm-hmm.
get letters and phone calls written in their behalf. They need contracts and documents. It saves you so much money. It's like having a lawyer in the palm of your hand and not having to pay be billed. You're not
Mm-hmm.
billed, hourly. You don't get any hourly
Mm-hmm.
bill in the mail or anything like
Mm-hmm.
that. And we
Mm-hmm.
also have uh, identity theft protection, which is also good
Mm-hmm.
too because it also protects you across social media as well. And
Mm-hmm.
if they see anything that is, you know, kind of damaging to you, and parents can see this, for their children as well, they can,
Mm-hmm.
fix that, get rid of it before it gets out there.
Mm.
So
Okay.
that's very important too. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And we do 3 credit bureau monitoring. And the best thing that we have is we have restoration with our own licensed private investigators that will do whatever it takes for as long as it takes to clear your name.
Mm-hmm.
So
I love
that's
that. Yeah.
basically what I do.
Now, and so for people who,
Yep.
if they are in a situation legally when it comes to this trafficking situation of needing someone to advocate for them, legally, or is there a way that they can use those services for that?
I've never heard of anybody using the services for that, so I really can't say for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I do know that these organizations that use attorneys are usually pro bono. They are trying to find pro bono attorneys because they can't afford attorneys. So I don't know. I really can't say that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see any reason why they wouldn't, but that I
Mm-hmm.
can't answer for sure.
Okay. Okay.
So, because
And
I'd rather be honest about that.
mm-hmm. But it seems like a great
Yeah,
service because some
I'm just not
people
sure if
just
they can for that.
yeah,
It is.
yeah. Awesome. And so, talk to
Yep.
us about, the holidays, some things that we can be mindful of when it comes to being safe, during the holidays, that we might overlook when it comes to such a topic such as this.
Well, more and more people, of course, are online now, and it's even more so because of the COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And I will tell you too, before I get to mention that the human trafficking has risen well over 50% from January to June because
Mm,
more children are home on their computers, and some of them are alone, or the parents are like either at work or they're you know um, just caught up in their situation. But what can you ask me the question again? I'm sorry.
so some things that we could be doing to stay safe
Okay.
during the holidays when it comes to dealing with, this type of topic, because you just don't think about it, you know.
No, people don't think about it, and they just have to be more aware of their surroundings. I mean, being aware of your surroundings is so, so important, and learning what to look for, because you see trafficking incidences right in front of your face, and you don't know it because you just don't. I mean, before I knew about it, I can think of three distinct types of things that I saw that I believe that was
Mm-hmm.
human trafficking. And,
Mm.
because sometimes people have children that they, like one time in a restaurant, should I say, it was one of those things on the side of the highway where you have a lot of different restaurants. And there were two Chinese children that were like, I'm hearing background noise,
Mm-hmm.
but they were sitting at a table. And then there was, like four people that were in a booth that were sitting two tables away with keys in their hands, and they were watching these children like a hawk.
Wow.
And these people, like I believe, were from the Mid East. So and the two kids were sitting there eating, and I'm pretty sure that was an incident. And
Mm.
I just didn't know, but I just remember thinking it was really weird, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was
Mm-hmm.
another time where my husband and I were in Colorado, and
Mm-hmm.
we were sitting at a Denny's, and it was like mid morning, and this old guy came in with a Chinese girl,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, she was dressed normally. They were eating, but then she went into the bathroom, and I went to go to the bathroom before I left the restaurant, and she was actually washing up in the
Mm.
restroom. She was cleaning up.
Mm.
So I'm thinking, that was definitely a trafficking situation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, and it's not just with Chinese people. I don't want anybody to think that it's just Chinese people that are being
Mm-hmm.
trafficked. It's everybody and anybody. It happens
Wow.
in seedy motels. It happens in high class hotels,
Mm-hmm.
casinos. As a
Mm-hmm.
matter of fact, the biggest human trafficking night, I bet you will never guess, is the Super Bowl
Super Bowl.
Sunday.
Super Bowl.
Yep, that
Mm-hmm.
is when that is like the biggest night of the year. Whenever you have
Mm-hmm.
huge events like that, there's going to be a lot of trafficking
Mm-hmm.
going on.
Yeah, I
And
used.
there's go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say I
Go ahead.
volunteered with a shelter, and when we went to training, they told us that
Hmm.
Super Bowl was one of the biggest times. Now, we
Yep.
just were aware of that because the Super Bowl was here recently, and they were saying, we had to be
Yes.
prepared because of the trafficking that happens during that time. So, yeah.
Yep. And
Mm-hmm.
what's causing it is the high demand. There is
Mm-hmm.
such a high demand for sex with children. It's just
Mm-hmm.
so ingrained into our society. And I can tell you that American men are the highest connoisseurs
Mm-hmm.
of having sex with children, and it is sick.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So,
It's just
well,
really sick. When the internet was, yeah. When Go ahead.
go ahead. You finish.
Um, I was just going to say that there's always been you know people that have these feelings towards children or wanting to have sex with children, but
Mm-hmm.
over the years and when the internet started coming about, they were able to start communicating with each other,
Mm-hmm.
about how they felt about things,
Mm-hmm.
and so it just kind of grew from there. And
Mm-hmm.
pornography is one very huge thing that fuels it. And if
Mm-hmm.
we could get rid of the what fuels it, the demand, then there
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't be any trafficking.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So true.
So,
Well, this has definitely
yep.
been a very informative segment. We want to thank you for your transparency and sharing such a delicate topic for everybody. So, what's the best way for the audience to get a hold of
Thank
you?
you. Well, I would rather have somebody get in touch with me through my website
Okay.
if that's possible.
Mm-hmm.
And that way they can also see, also ways that they might be able to get legal help or identity theft protection. And they can also just go on there and just message me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It is Lisa Jameson, JAMESON dot
Mm.
wearelegalshield.com.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Awesome.
And they can definitely contact me through that.
Awesome. And then what
So,
final words would you like to share with the audience before you go today?
well, to share this with everybody that you know, or at least talk about, what you learned today,
Mm-hmm.
and just volunteer. A lot of people will not don't want to know about it. They just it's voodoo. I find that a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people just don't want to know, they don't want to talk about it, or they're like, oh wow, that's just, I'd like to do something, but I really can't do anything. But they can.
Mm.
People who don't do anything because they think that the little they can do, it won't mean anything. But if everybody could just sign maybe a petition or
Mm.
donate a couple of dollars, can you imagine if everybody donated $5, say, and 1,000 people did that? That's a lot of money, you know. So it's just, don't anybody think that they can't do anything, because there's always something that you can do. You can share information about it. You can look it up. Shared Hope, um, Love 146, the Underground Connecticut.org. They all have information about how you can get involved. And it is so important, because the more people who get involved, or at least learn about this and pay attention and believe their kids when they tell them,
Mm-hmm.
it will be huge. I can tell you that right now. That would make such a huge difference. That's what I have to say.
Awesome. Well, we just want to thank you for
Yep.
your courage and passion for sharing about such a topic. And thank you again, because this is something that many of us, we don't know what to look for. And, we
No.
can all be distracted with viruses and racial things. But this is also an important topic that is
Yes.
happening right in front of us that many of us are not aware of. So we want to thank you for shedding the light on that topic for us. And we want to wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And we want to thank you guys for joining us. And I encourage you to reach out to Lisa on her
Absolutely.
website if you do have some questions about this topic, to get in contact with her, because she definitely can lead you in the right direction on what organization or how to find something in your area that you might be able to contribute to, that could help win the war on sex trafficking. So we just want to thank you guys for
Yep.
joining us today. We want to wish you a wonderful evening. You guys have a great time. See you next time on the next episode.
Okay. Thank you, Lachelle, and thank you, everybody, for listening.
Bye for now.